Hey everyone, it's Diego Viteri. Welcome to a new video of Viteri Boxing. Today I'll be showing you how to throw the jab correctly to the head and to the body. So the first thing to have a good jab is to have a solid stance. You need the stance to generate power and to have balance. If you don't have balance, you basically can't box. So first, we're going to start from our feet to our head, how we have to position ourselves. So first of all, you have to go step forward with your left. If you are an orthodox, right to your right. And then you have to look if you have a line between the tip of the toe and your ankle. That means you got a good balance. If I'm standing like this, even if it seems like I have a good balance, I don't have. So you should always see if you have a line between the tip of the toe and your ankle. Then we go to this part of the legs. You have to bend your legs a little bit. Always bend a little bit. Never too straight because it's going to be hard to move like that. Bend your legs. Your center line is the one thing you have to protect at all times. You can't box like this. You have your center line. That means you're going to receive punches. So you got to turn your torso a little bit so you protect and you're less of a target. Then let's go to the arms. The arms have to be, your elbow has to be close to the body so you defend all of those liver shots, those terrible liver shots that knock you out. Then your hand has to be open because it covers more area of your face and because you can deflect punches or parry punches, you catch the punches. With your left arm, it's going to be slightly forward and still with the hand open so you can still catch the punches. And this is the correct way to stand. You have a good balance, you have good defense, and you are covering your center line. Now that you have a solid stance, we need to look to the mechanics of the jab. So we have to always, when we throw a punch, to look from the ground up because that's the way power works. So first of all, you need to turn inward from the ball of your foot, like this. You go inward. Make sure your heel is not touching the floor. Then you kill the jab. You're killing the jab. Make sure it's with the ball of the foot. Your knee is also going inward, which makes the hip going inward and your shoulder going inward. This is a kinetic chain. Everything works as one single movement. You move like a single movement. Then your hand is completely open because you want your muscles to be relaxed and loose so it can be fast. Make sure your elbow is always underneath your hand. So you throw the jab, your elbow is here. At the end, you turn. And at the end, you close your hand. You put the stiffness at the end. Make sure your shoulder is protecting your chin. Your chin is under your shoulder. That means they can't hit me and I'm completely covered. And why do I have to make my elbow always underneath my hand? So I don't telegraph. I don't tell my opponent that I'm sending a jab. If I go with my jab like this, it's obvious that you're throwing a jab and it's easy to slip and easy to counter. If I throw my jab like this, it's just a straight line. And also make sure to go from point A to point B, no point A, B, C. Don't pull A, B, then C. Go from here to here and that's it. Then you have a good jab. So once you get the mechanics of the jab, you got to understand that you need to do a step in order to connect to your opponent and to have more reach. When you start boxing, you got an imaginary line between his front foot and your front foot. And that makes sense because you're protecting always your center line. My center line is here, his center line is here. We're both protecting our center lines. My center line is his line of attack, and I have to always protect that. So in order to connect to my opponent, I have to align my shoulder between his shoulders so I can connect the jab. I do like this. So my shoulder is in between both of his legs. That means my shoulder is aligned with his chin and I can connect him. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen is people do the step, but they go straight. They go straight in the straight line. And what happens? You're only going to catch his forearm, his forearm, his forearm. The step has to be in 45 degree. 45 degree in order to you can be in between his shoulder and in order to connect. Okay, so once you do that, there's one more thing that I have to mention. Once you do that, look, he has the line of attack is also open for him, so he can connect the jab. So you have to break his line of attack, which means that you have to take your head out of the center line. That means that once you throw the jab, you gotta move your head too. So you go the step, 45-degree angle, and you bend to your right, like this. So that way you connect, you're in between, and once he throws his jab is gonna go just on top of your shoulder, and you're gonna slip that jab. That's the whole point. You connect, he can connect. Now we're gonna see the falling step, which means that we're gonna see how to create power using our jab. Most people think that when you throw the jab, you gotta go in a straight motion like this. But if you go in a straight motion like this, you will lose your balance, and that means you're gonna stay longer. It will take you longer to move out of the way, which exposes you to a counter. What you wanna do is throw your jab and keep your balance, keep you in a center line, and drop your weight. That's the way you create power, not in a straight motion falling forward, but dropping your weight. Make sure that it's always on the ball of the foot so you can push back and move out of the way. The whole point of the jab is to stick and move. And make sure to also protect with your shoulder so you don't get the counter. That's what Jack Dempsey wrote in his book in the 50s, Championship Fighting, about the falling step, to drop your weight to generate more power, not falling forward, because you're going to lose balance and they're going to counter you. Once you know how to throw the jab to the head, you need to know how to throw the jab to the body. If you didn't see my last video, I talked about the purposes about the jab to the body. Basically, it was about taking his rhythm and breathe them out, take air out of them and make them tired so their legs will stop and I can punch them. So how to throw the jab to the body is basically the same mechanics as the jab to the head, but the only difference is the alignment. If I throw the jab here, there's an alignment between my shoulder and the target. I can't do this because if I do this, I'm exposed to a lot of counters and they can knock me out. So what I'm going to do is I have to lower my level. And in that way, my shoulder, my hand are aligned and everything is perfect to cover myself. You have to always think about every attack has to be a defense at the same time. It has to be at the same thing. 50% attack, 50% defense. You go to the body, it's exactly the same as the jab to the head. The only difference, you have to lower your level. Remember that the jab has to always be with a purpose. You can't throw the jab just because you want to throw the jab. And remember that each time you throw the jab, they can counter you. There's a million ways they can counter you throwing the jab, so make sure you always have a purpose. And also, this was only the principle, the fundamental of how to throw the jab. There are things more advanced, but we're going to see that in the future, like how to throw the jab with an open stance, southpaw versus orthodox or orthodox versus southpaw. Remember that boxing is for everyone, and the most important thing is to have fun doing it. The little details are what make the difference in boxing. I'll see you next week, and thank you for watching my video.